Trump went to Vietnam, and you got it. And at this very public ceremony, Trump was placed slightly ahead and to the right of the Vietnam president, and showed himself to be in charge. And Vietnamese. So what the Vietnamese promised was to stop their participation in procuring children
the human trafficking. Yeah.
Yep. So he didn't leave until they capitulated quickly. Most of these did not put up a fight, folks. Israel put up the biggest fight. Now, this is a big one for me. And boy, you talk about going into the lion's den. The big one after Vietnam and the end of the Asian tour for Trump is in January, I believe it was, very early in 2018. Trump attended a very, very famous meeting because of everyone who was purported to be there at Davos, Switzerland. Do you guys remember this? This is January of 2018. This was quite a big deal. Soros was there as well. He was present at this as well. And at this meeting, you're talking about the biggest international corporations in the world. This is it. These are the key players, and these are the biggest, most evil corporations that are at this meeting at Davos, Switzerland. It was called by Trump. That's not what they said publicly, of course, but it was called by Trump. Trump came in late again. He sat at the very middle of the table, and basically everyone was kind of wrapped around Trump. Because he was the boss of this meeting. And Trump laid out documents and folders. He started with envelopes, very similar to what occurred at the George Bush funeral when he first arrived. And you had a lot of very, very worried people for the meeting the next day because of what was said in these envelopes the day before. And then the next day at this meeting, he provided a whole bunch more information about each one of these evil fucks, and the meeting very, very quickly. Now, this is kind of a scary place. It would be for me anyways, to go to Davos, Switzerland, and all of the caves and tunnels underneath those mountains, and they could have abducted him and said that this was some kind of kidnapping, and they don't know where he is, but they're going to use all of their resources to try to. This is scary, big stuff. That you talk about.
I'm sure
cojones.
He didn't go here alone.
No, I'm sure he didn't either. But still, you talk about cojones. Yeah. I think this was Mark. I think this was Trump at his most vulnerable. Was this January 2018 meeting in the Lion's Den at Davos, Switzerland, and Soros was there
for that trip.
Yes, right. Yeah, and like scared little rodents, they capitulated quite quickly. I think Trump played it really well with those envelopes the first night, and then made them sweat it overnight, and then the folders the next day, and they capitulated. And Trump did not leave without them. And remember again, folks, this is not just saying to Nestle that you're not going to poison the water anymore.
Or steal the water anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah. But you're also working for us, and what we ask you to do, you do. And if you don't do, we go public one by one. We don't make this look like a big conspiracy and we're nuts. You're a lone nut. You're a kook. You're a sick child abuser, and we're going to pick on you individually. That's what Trump said to each of them. We're not going to make this a conspiracy that'll help you. We're going to single you out and eat you alive. So they all capitulated at this meeting, and this is a huge one because these are the biggest companies. HSBC was there. This is evil. This is the faces of evil were at this meeting, and George Soros was at this meeting. Mm-hmm.
There has been a notable absence of ISIS terror attacks in recent years. I know there was a huge spate of them. I'm trying to remember the years. Maybe it was around 2016, 2017. But then I don't think we've heard from ISIS for a good couple of years or more. I wonder if that's a coincidence.
John McCain. Now let's do the John McCain math here. when was John McCain alive? When was John McCain spending a lot of time in the Middle East? And then when did John McCain get taken out and have a dishonorable discharge and a dishonorable funeral where the flag on his coffin was askewed, pointing out that he was dishonorably discharged from the military before he was shot in the back of the head. So yeah, let's do the John McCain mathematics here, okay? And then you add that up, and I think you can come to an answer. You can figure out when ISIS just seemed to go away. John McCain had to nurse those idiots into doing the things that they did. ISIS was his charge, and that's why you have so many shots of McCain over in the Middle East, hanging out with all four of the main ISIS evil heads. You know, we're never going to find all of them. And no, he just happened to be having lunch with all four of them. Yeah, they're just his little buddies. So
I think they've all got coronavirus now, which is why we don't hear from them.
That's exactly right. So, these people, sickening. So then Trump went to India, and the Modi, who was the Indian leader, very publicly. And by the way, this is really a good one, because I'm not sure necessarily why it worked this way. Maybe it was Trump's idea. I don't know. But from Modi, the Indian leader, onwards, you see all of these international presidents and prime ministers all coming to these public meetings now with their arms wrapped about and their hands all wrapped about, like they're symbolizing that their hands are in cuffs.
That their hands are tied.
Their hands are literally tied. So the first one to do this was Modi. And at this, and it was such a weird thing. People were kind of looking at him and going, "This is kind of odd. Like, why does he keep doing this?" And he was trying to draw attention to the fact that he was clasping his wrists because he had cuffs on them. So don't blame me. Don't get angry at me. I'm sorry, my hands are tied, is what he was saying. So he took India and made India work for him. The Central Americas, starting with Mexico, AMLO, the corrupt, oh no, he's a good guy. No, he's a kindly old man. And AMLO, he cares about the Mexican people. He's going to change. He's evil. But anyways, he was quite resistant, and Trump actually made comments to that about how inhospitable Mexico was to him, and people were just like thinking, well, yeah, because you were all doing all that wall stuff and stuff. No. It was about,
or you're racist and you don't like Mexicans.
That's right. No. It was
Trump's
about
not racist.
AMLO didn't want to give up eating children and give up his power to Trump. Kind of liked his little gig, but they did. He went to from Mexico City. He went to all of the Central American countries, and they all signed over. And then in all of these meetings, all of these various leaders, AMLO included, all were doing these clapping their hands together and their wrists together like they were being bound and forced into doing this. And I won't even get into it, but there's kind of a reason with these Spanish types. But anyways, we move forward. We get to Brazil, and the new Brazilian president, I guess he's a president in Brazil. He thinks he's got the best job in the world because he's far away from all the bright lights of the mainstream news, and he can just rape and go to the bank in Brazil. No, Trump pays him a visit and tells him he's working for Trump or else. And so they have this very public meeting where, once again, Bolsonaro, he clamped his hands together and his wrists together, showing that he was forced into doing this, and he submitted over to Trump as well. And then after Trump leaves, guess what? One of the first acts that Bolsonaro did as the president, this is very key everywhere, by the way, folks, is all of these then key arrests after Trump left these countries of key pedophilia cover companies, and individuals.